just finished installing this locomotive with a Zimo MS950 series decoder and the correct sound project in corresponding with the locomotive. Additionally, I did some wired the bottom lights, these two bottom lights on either side with bicolored LEDs, both red and white. And then finally the reed switches were updated and set with the bell and whistle. So let's go ahead and review the functions. Let's go ahead and turn on the headlights. And the headlights take a second or two to come on. They dim on and off usually. So to turn on and show the effect of the red lights, the headlights come on with F0. That show the effect of the red lights or the tail lights. That is F2. And they are direction dependent. So when I change the direction of the locomotive, the red lights will come on. You notice they are red. And then if I can turn those off again with F2. And we can change the directions and the lights come on. So to turn on the sound, it is F8. F1 is your brake. Now this is important because when you start moving the locomotive forward, as it is right now, let's bring the throttle up, and I drop the throttle down, and the locomotive continues moving until I press F1, and that stops it. While I press F1, you'll also hear the brake sound a little bit. F2 turns on your tail lights or red tail lights. F3 is your short horn. F4 is a kind of the long horn. F5 is your bell. F6 is the conductor's whistle. F7 is kind of neat because that is what's the curve squeal. Now this uses some of the advanced programmings. It uses one of the scripts, which is dependent on motion of the locomotive. And you hear, and speed actually. You hear the clunk, clunk, clunk of the wheels. Bring it back. Once the locomotive is completely stopped, it'll stop making the spur. Now I have the brake key just turned on, so it takes a little bit more to move it. It creates a very dynamic sound effects with that. F8, of course, turns off the on and off the sound. F9 is another neat feature. So if we turn on F9, when we rev the engine up, we can turn on F9 and it'll stay at that speed. And you notice the locomotive doesn't want to move very fast with F9 turned off. That's called a speed lock. F10 is for coasting, or a coasting sound. It just sort of keeps it at the same. Turn on the brake. Bring that back. F11 is for coupling, or it plays a coupling sound, as if it was coupling, or uncoupling. is opening and closing the door of the cab. Then F13 is applying the handbrake or releasing it. And then you have F14 is a different horn. And then F15 is a short horn like that. F16 is air release. F17 plays a sanding sound. Now, F18 turns on the headlights on both ends of the locomotive. Turns off also, just automatically turns off the red lights. And then F19 is the cab light, which you probably can't see very well. That I left as the original incandescent light. And then F20 is mute. F21 increases the volume, F22 decreases the volume, and F23 turns off the reed switches. So the reed switches, that's your left side of the locomotive, and then the right side is the horn. So that's, again, this is a Zimo MS950. And it has the special lighting features that are included with the sound, the control of which is included with the sound project. Hope you enjoy.